This video is designed for those of you who want to start your own private security company in California. If you have not been watching our videos, this video is for you. Assembly Bill 1244, AB 1244, was sent over to Governor Newsom's desk and he signed it. More or less the second week of October. Assembly Bill 1244 is now law. We've been trying to fight this for somewhere between 9 months, maybe even a year, and we were not successful. A whole lot of other people were not successful either. So this is now a law. If you're wondering how this does affect you, we will definitely get to that. Let me just discuss real quick how to open a security company in California. This is the layman version. This is the rapid, very, very summarized version. Basically, you need to have a private patrol operator license, also known as the PPO license. Every PPO needs a QM, also known as the qualified manager. The qualified manager runs the day-to-day operations of the business. If you are not qualified as a qualified manager, then what ends up happening is you can't run your security company. Now, the next question is, Sean, how do I become a qualified manager? And the answer to that is, well, we have to look at AB 1244. I'll talk very briefly about what the requirements are right now. This is why you guys should start your security company yesterday. You don't have a lot of time. What is going to end up happening is come January, that's when everybody rushes to start their own security company. There's going to be a backlog of PPO applicants, and the state may not have enough time to process your application. Come January 1st, 2025, 80 to 90% of those of you watching this video will not even be able to qualify. So right now the qualifications are as follows. All you have to do is go through a background check. Can't have any, it just depends on the felonies, depends on the misdemeanors, but you got to go through a fingerprint check, got to turn in your application, and all you need is 1 year of private security experience. That's it, just 1 year. Before January 1st, 2025, you just need 1 year. Once January 1st of 2025 hits, you have to have 3 years of private security experience under a current private patrol operator. 2 out of those 3 years, you have to be in a manager or administrative role. For a lot of people, that's really hard to get to that role because you might have some very small security companies where they only promote the son of the company, the cousin, the brother. It's just so small. Or you might have these smaller security companies where nobody gets promoted to a manager or a administrative role. So let's face it, about half of the security companies that reach out to me, or half of those who want to start their own security company, they are basically owner-operator based. That means that the owner of the company is also the qualified manager, which means unless that company grows, there's not going to be any room for management or room for you to be an administrator. Once again, I anticipate 80 to 90% of you will not be able to do that. I highly encourage you guys who might fall into that category to apply yesterday. Apply yesterday. If you don't, I don't want to fear monger, and I'm not fear mongering, but you're going to have to meet the new requirements, and you don't want to meet the new requirements. I'm going to have to start up I have a qualified manager certificate, so I can run security companies. But come January 1st, 2025, that's going to be a different story because I don't have my security company anymore. I just found that it just wasn't worth it anymore. I'd rather be in the training role, teaching people how to start their business. That is more exciting to me than actually running the company. But if I want to farm out my services, if I want to be a qualified manager for other security companies, the only way that I can do that is if I am currently employed by if I am currently employed by a private patrol operator, and I'm not. So it's one of the only routes. Okay. Don't want to fear monger, but you guys need to get started now. Some of you might be asking me, what do I offer? So if you want me to review your application, the fees right now is $500 and I will review the application from top to bottom. When I get done with the application, there's usually like 2 errors. There's no way that I can review an application where it's always error-free. There's always 1 or 2 errors. Most of my applications that I review have somewhere between 7 and 10 major errors. That means that you have a very, very, very minimal chance of getting your application approved with these major errors. If you go through the PPO application video that I made for you guys, it's about 3 hours long. I show you step by step on how to go over that application. That's right now it's $15. That can easily go to $50, or it can go to $100 for the video. I am going to have to increase my fees pretty soon. I talked about this in other videos. I don't like to do this, but I'm going to have to start offering my products, or base my products to security companies, the big ones who are trying to come into California. Because again, 80 to 90% of you will not even be able to apply for a PPO license come January 1st of 2025. I do have an application review service. Once again, I review the application from top to bottom. Right now it's $500. That can easily increase to $1,000, $2,000. When there's a mistake on your application, it can set you back a lot of months. And almost every application that I reviewed, they all have mistakes. Once again, I'm not fear-mongering. You can have somebody else review your application. For the actual course that I have, so I have what's called the Private Patrol Operator Leadership and Development course. This is a 40-hour course, which means that there is 40 hours of content. There's a lot of content. The course fee right now at this point in time, it's $500. I will probably have to increase that fee to, it's easily going to go to $1,000 pretty soon. And it could go all the way up to $4,000, maybe $5,000 soon. I'm taking a huge hit, maybe about 80 to 90% revenue hit on my business, on my training business, because of AB 1244. So I have to make up for it somehow. How long is it going to take you? Quite honestly, you guys, it takes the average person maybe 3 to 4 months to complete the course. I know it's a 40-hour course, but it takes people that long because most people don't have the time to just take 1 week off and just go over the course. If you go through each video, it is going to, it's going to take time. It would take 40 hours. That's how much content there is. There's literally 40 hours of video content. There are some hands-on exercises. There's a lot of forums. Anyhow, you're probably wondering, what exactly do you have? Okay, so I'm going to go through the curriculum real quick. And whenever you see like a time, like where it says learning strategies, it says 1833. That means it's 18 minutes and 33 seconds long. So learning strategies, I teach you how to remember the best, how to retain knowledge. You're going to need to know this if you want to pass the qualified manager exam. And by the way, this course will help you pass the exam. Some other people wondering about my book that I have on Amazon called The Private Patrol Operator Leadership. No, it's called The Private Patrol Operator. How to start your California-based security company. It's now 150-ish. That book can easily go to $500 pretty soon. It was last updated in 2018. Some of you think it's maybe outdated. Whenever there's any type of update that needs to be made, I'll do a video about it. So if you go to my playlist under Private Patrol Operator Qualified Manager Testing or something, that degree, you can go through all the videos and I talk about any updates. I still get positive reviews. I appreciate you guys who do positive reviews on Amazon. If you notice, there's recent reviews. I mean, the test is constantly being revised, but people are constantly providing positive reviews on it. So it helps. Okay, it helps. Don't take my word for it. See for yourself. We'll be talking about business formations and different types of ownership. We'll be talking about the Veterans Come First program. That is a testable subject. Also, if you are a veteran, okay, there are some, you can use your GI Bill for, I think, the qualified manager fees, the testing fees. So just about any test that you pay with BSIS, you get your fees waived. So that's pretty cool. We'll be talking about office requirements. You might be asking me, Sean, can I open a home office? We'll talk about that in the course. Talk about insurance requirements and what should you look for in a policy. That's 154 minutes of content. We'll be talking about sales and marketing. We'll be talking about proposals and contracts. This is a 231-minute module. We cover so much. We cover basic contracting principles, basic principles on proposals. And then the next module will talk about post orders. Then we'll talk about invoicing. And then we'll talk about licensing and hiring requirements. It's only 34 minutes long. And then you guys are going to love this. We'll be talking about job applications and employment screening forms. And I actually have a job application that you can print out and that you can give to prospective applicants. Are any of these forms, have they been reviewed by attorneys? Some of them have, but you're going to have to assume that none of them are because it's not legal advice, not professional advice. These are just forms that I created that you could give to your attorney. But my goal of this course is to have as near turnkey business as possible. So what I mean by that is if you take my course, there's so many forms and information that you'll be maybe 70, 80% there, maybe 90% there already. Some people maybe 100% there. There's just other things that you need to do. Keep in mind, guys and gals, there's a lot of time in putting a lot of these forms together. If you're talking about weeks and weeks of time, do you want to do it yourself? You can if you want. We're talking about the Proprietary Security Services Act. And by the way, every module that we go through, that's testable content on the Qualified Manager exam. Excuse me. That's 27 minutes long. And then we'll talk about legal authority in the next module. And then we'll talk about use of force. That's a 383-minute module. We'll talk about the newest legislation. There needs to be a little bit of update on that. We talked about if AB 229 is going to pass, then these are going to be the requirements. Well, AB 229 did pass. So the requirements we talk about are the law now. And we actually predicted on the video that it was going to pass and did. We'll be talking about pre-employment exams. Can you give prospective applicants a practice test? A test on math. Can you give them a physical fitness test? Can you give them a medical test? And then employer rights. We'll be talking about the basic rights for employees, different techniques on supervising personnel, payroll considerations, personal form and record requirements. We'll be talking about the PPO, Business Professions Code responsibilities. What are your statutory responsibilities? And this is pretty big here. So for 78 minutes, we'll be discussing sexual harassment, discrimination, and whistleblowing. Then we'll talk about parking and traffic enforcement. Can you enforce parking violations on private property? Then we'll be talking about 23 minutes of patrol vehicle regulations. What can and can you not put on your patrol vehicle? We're talking about traffic collisions. Should you be responding to traffic collisions on the property, on and off the property? And then we'll be talking for 47 minutes about emergency action plans, also known as the EAP. And I have a template for you guys. Okay. And I think it's the sexual harassment module or the EAP. One of those, you guys actually have a homework assignment. You have to develop your own policy. And this is a cool thing. When you're done, you can adopt it. So you don't have to go looking for another policy. If you want to adopt it, if you want to bring this form to your attorney or this policy to your attorney and ask if this is something viable. We'll be talking about the injury and illness prevention programs that is required in the state of California. We'll be talking about mandatory employment notices, 24 minutes long. And this is the cool thing. I give you guys links to free employment notices. So you don't have to go out to a vendor, spend $300, $400. Just click on this link and then just print them out. And then you just post these notices all over the workplace in a conspicuous place. I'm very passionate about this one. BSIS audit and inspection survival. That's 93 minutes long. I have been audited by BSIS and I have survived. And I want to share that knowledge with you guys. I actually think just that module is worth the whole course. You're going to learn a lot. Towards the end, you have an option of downloading the PDF version of the Private Patrol Operator Managing a Security Company in California. That's the same book that's offered on Amazon. It's a 2018 version. That saves you guys $150. You could download it. I think there's a block on it. I don't think you could download it. No, you know what? I had to put a copyright restriction on that one. I think you can view it on like a PDF viewer, but I don't believe that you can print it. And then afterwards, there's a final exam. Is it the same final exam as the Qualified Manager PPO test? Absolutely not. It's not. The final exam, it's still in the works. I'm still adding some questions, but it's not going to be the same test. It's just to test some of your knowledge. Most of your knowledge that's testable is basically through all the modules, but there is no final exam that will test you on all the modules. The final exam just covers some of them, maybe less than half. Okay. If you need a practice exam to help you pass the PPO test, then I would just take the I just check out the PDF version of the private patrol operator. You can use that because towards the end there's a bunch of final practice questions there. Okay, it's up to you guys. The pricing options, once again, it's $500 right now. Access is limited to 12 months. Pretty soon I have to restrict it because, let's face it, more people want to be enrolled in this class. We only have 59 seats available right now. Right now it's plentiful, but come closer to January 1st of 2025, those seats are gonna fill up. There's also a payment option of $120 a month, and it's spread out in a 6-month period. You can do that too. The only disadvantage is you actually end up paying more. I mean, I really don't recommend that because you're going to pay like $220 more. Okay. Now, as time progresses, we come closer to January 1st, then it will not be $120 a month. It can easily go to $200, $300 a month, depending how higher I have to I have to sell the courses for. So that's all I have. If you guys have any questions, concerns, let me know. Just about everything I talk about today, I will leave links in the description box for you. If there's any other questions, feel free to reach out to me through my email address. That will be in the description box below, or you can also comment. Guys and gals, take care. And please be safe out there and study as hard as you can.